those of you that's followed my stuff for quite some time now, I believe this is year 6 actually, realize that the overwhelming majority of the shows that I film are actually filmed while I'm out working. Well, I'm going to start year 6 off a little bit different, and that is the first handful of shows are actually going to be done from my office, because this is where I am doing the type of work I'm going to be talking about in these first handful of episodes. Also, longtime followers will probably realize that, you know what? I go ahead and cover a handful of the same topics each and every season. That's because, frankly, they are so mission critical, in my opinion, to my success. And if it was that critical to me, I'm betting it's critical to you as well. One of those is what we're going to start the season out with, which we usually do, and that is planning. Rarely if ever are you going to go out, slap a food plot in a nice easy opening in the back corner of the field, and that is going to do the max for your habitat improvement benefit that you can do on your property. No, these types of things don't happen by accident. What ends up happening is, to get the most out of our improvements, we need to sincerely plan them out. Now, we have to go ahead first, understand what we have to work with. That is step 1. Get out there, scout, figure out what I have for food sources during each phase of season. If you want to do the most good to help the overall health of deer, what you're going to do is you're going to target those seasonal low points. Okay. In order to figure out what those seasonal low points are, well, you know what? You need to get out there and you need to burn yourself some boot leather. Next, figure out how the deer are utilizing your habitat. The more we understand what the deer are already doing on our ground, the more we can position our own improvements for success. Make them do something they've never done before. Okay. How do we figure that out? We figure it out by getting out there and scouting. Figure out what our habitat offers. How are the deer utilizing that habitat? What are they doing that we can then do to put on steroids, make them do more, so that it benefits the deer and us? What we're really ultimately trying to do is we are trying to manufacture high odds, low impact stand sites. The way you end up going about doing that is taking what the deer are already doing and putting it on steroids in places that work for you. So now we know the habitat. We know the deer. Next, analyze that property. Figure out where can I get to without deer hearing me, seeing me, or smelling me. Those are the areas that I want to do the improvements specifically for stand sites. I want them in areas that I can get to, I can hunt, and I can get out of without deer hearing, seeing, or smelling me. If they do not hear, see, or smell me, you know what? As far as they're concerned, we weren't even there. So, you take your habitat, you take the way the deer are utilizing your habitat, then you go ahead and you look at how can I access that habitat safely? What areas can I get to? What areas can't I? Now, how can we string together those improvements to not only help that whitetail become even more healthier, but aid our hunting efforts at the same time? That is how we take this habitat improvement game to the next level. It is almost never the best route. Go out to your back corner of the field and slap in a food plot. How am I going to get there? How am I going to hunt it? How am I going to get out? Those are all critical questions that you need to answer before you make that first improvement. You do that, and we're well on our way to success. Rarely is it the best method to get out in the woods and slap a food plot in willy-nilly. You know, we're all excited about improving our habitat, that's great, but planning is everything. Study those aerial photos, study those topo maps, get your tail out in the woods and burn boot leather, figure out how the deer are utilizing that habitat. What are my habitat's strengths? What are my habitat's weaknesses? Now, how can I improve this habitat in a way that goes ahead and accentuates the positives that my property has to offer while minimizing the negatives and getting those deer to flow past high odds, low impact stands? You take that approach. You put your time in planning up front, have a plan, and as you're instituting it, always remain rigidly flexible. If it's not working the way I want it to, you know what? I'm going to scrap that area, I'm going to reevaluate, and I'm going to retarget what I can do to get the most out of my efforts. Take that approach, you know what? Habitat improvement can be a lot more successful.